Hello everyone. So, you saw the title of this video. Now I should probably begin by saying, why can I talk about language? Well, I actually grew up in Russia, so I spent 10 years in Russia when I was a little boy. So you can call that my mother tongue. And then I moved to the UK. So obviously when I moved to the UK, I had to learn English from scratch. I did not learn much in Russia at all. I literally had to begin with hello, goodbye, how are you, boy, girl. I had to begin with all of that. And then moving on, 12 years later, I'm now in Shanghai and I'm teaching English. So I have this perspective of first learning English, then learning how to teach it, and now teaching it and seeing other people's progress and seeing what helps them. So therefore, I've come up with 5 tips for you, which you can use to help yourself learn a language. And this can apply to any language at all. So tip number 1 is pronunciation.
I would like to buy a hamburger.
I would like to buy a hamburger.
Okay, you have to make sure you pronounce every single word correctly. Every single sound that is supposed to be pronounced in that word is there. Otherwise, people may not understand you. And this is not about accent. This is literally about making sure you say the words right. And this can sometimes mean that you have to make your mouth work in funny ways. And the reason it feels funny to you is because actually going from any language to any other language, in most cases, it's very awkward and very silly. But you do have to move your mouth in a different way if you want, in order to speak right. It will feel weird at first, but later it will feel more natural. Just make sure you do it from the beginning. If that language requires you to open your mouth wider than you have ever before, do it. If that language makes your mouth do some weird thing with your tongue, do it. Okay?
Would.
Weird.
Tip number 2. Speaking. Speak as much as you can. Speak what you know, even if it's only how are you. Make sure you use that sentence, that word, every day, hopefully more than once a day. Now for this, clearly, you need a partner, or you need to be in the country of which you're studying a language. There's no other way about it. You need interaction, so please make sure that you speak as often as you can. It is a vital part, I believe, of learning a language. Number 3. So before, in tip number 2, I was saying how you should use language every day. Well, number 3 is don't get comfortable with what you know. Many people, and this applies to learning anything, get to a certain level, maybe they only need to do this particular thing to be able to do this, and they're happy and they're fine. And that's cool if you only want to go to that level. But if you really want to learn a language, you need to push yourself. This can be scary to people because they feel like, going on to harder sentences and harder words and expressing myself can be more difficult. No, it doesn't have to be. Keep going the way you were learning it before, word by word, grammar point by grammar point, and then refer back to tip number 2 and use it every day. So what should be happening is that every day you can speak more and more and say more things until eventually you can have a conversation. Tip number 4, play games. Now there's 2 options for games. You can either literally play any game as long as it's in that language. So for example, Monopoly, play their version of Monopoly, right? That's a great way to have fun. It's a great way to interact. Once again, you need other people for this. And it's a great way to learn a language because you'll be using phrases that you're quite familiar with, hopefully, but in their way. And option 2 for playing games is language games. Now, these do not have to be boring, believe me. There's many games. And especially if you play them with a group or, with even 2-3 people, you will have lots of fun and believe me, you will learn. There's vocab games, there's grammar games, speaking games, writing games. You can have fun from when you're a child up until when you're an adult. And this will really boost your language ability because when you're having fun with anything, you will learn faster. And tip number 5, 2 words, music and movies. When I first came to the UK, my mum got me some movies from the store. So she got me 5 VHS tapes. And one of those movies is still to this day one of the movies that I don't mind to watch over and over again, Sergeant Bilko. It's a great comedy. Now obviously the first time I watched this movie I did not understand a thing. Alright? Luckily it was fun to watch, but I did not understand anything. I was just looking like But the level of satisfaction you get of setting that as a reference point and then rewatching it in 3 months, in 6 months, in a year, you will have new reference points, because you will realize suddenly that, wow, I understand stuff now. I understand this conversation, I understand why this is funny. You will get the jokes. So pick a movie that you really like and watch it over and over again, just for the satisfaction that you're understanding more language now. So clearly this is boosting your listening skills. And the same goes for music. So music is universal. We all love music, doesn't matter what type. You can find songs in that language. Learn it, okay? Look at the lyrics. Don't just let the music, the melody wash over your head. Listen to what they're saying. No matter how poppy or silly you think it is, listen to what they're saying, sing along. If you don't like simple poppy songs, you can pick a song that you do like. Guys, hope you have found these tips useful. I will be doing more videos on language, and the next thing I will talk about is, why is it a good idea to learn a language in the first place? So, I'll see you next time.